This is the Seven Figure Standard Podcast, hosted by Arash Vossoughi and Mikey Stiller, with mindset and strategies to help you break through and create personal freedom.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Seven Figure Standard Podcast. I'm Mikey Stiller, joined by my co-host, Arash Vossoughi, and we're so happy to be with you this week for an episode that is so important and that you're really going to like. It is all about allowing and feeling comfortable with your goal. So last week on the episode, Arash mentioned feeling comfortable with your goal. We're going to really dig in to see what he meant by that, and also allowing, not forcing. So, Arash, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, Mikey. How are you?
I'm doing great. I just introduced the topics just based on that. What do you have to say so far?
Well, I watch the majority of people. They're blocking the level of success because they're constantly forcing and they're pushing. Allowing is going to be critical. Whenever you've achieved something great, it's always because you've got out of the way. Letting go is another word for allowing. And we want to be such masters at letting go. But letting go will move you so much faster and with far less effort. That's what I meant by the goal being a natural state. Like when we breathe, it's natural. That's how I want it to be in the goal achievement process. Instead of forcing, we get in the way. And when we're in the way, the universe can't draw the good we desire to us. But when we let go, we know that we know that we know that it is already here. We feel exactly how we would feel. But what happens is you'll automatically start aligning your thoughts, feelings, and actions from your goal, and the universe will align everything in your favor for the fulfillment of your goal.
What do you think it is that makes people want to hold on so tightly? And we've gotten this question more times than I can count about, well, how am I supposed to want something so bad and desire it so much, but then just let it go?
Well, letting go is not a matter of not desiring it so much. It's about knowing it's coming. That's what letting go is. Like, you have to take action. Without action, nothing is going to happen. Your mindset and action are the bridge to achieving the end result. But when we force things and try to create outcomes, we create resistance. And it doesn't feel good. Even if we get the result, it'll be short-lived. Mm-hmm. And you don't create a natural state of flow. Like, everything happens with the natural state of life. When you're moving against the current, it doesn't feel good. When you're moving with it, it doesn't matter what you're doing, like everything is effortless. Mm-hmm. So letting things come to you first begins with, what do you want? See, most people think what they want, but they never decipher it and write it out clearly, because clarity prevents you from is that the word? Wondrously.
That's not the right word.
Hey, it's drifting is another word for it. But with clarity, you're directed exactly where you need to go, who you need to talk to. You'll get a referral from somebody. So we've got to really create great clarity first. And once you have the clarity, I know what I want, you must trust that it's on the way to you. See, our desire is coming after us just as fast as we're going after it. But we've been trained at a young age, I got to force it. Why? Because there's too much lack and limitation in your mindset. When you stop chasing, you start attracting. And every day, all of us, Mike, every one of us is creating every day based on how well we are at allowing. We're mm-hmm. either attracting into our life what we don't want, making it hard, having problems, or we're attracting it effortlessly.
Elizabeth, who we work with, asked you what I thought was a really good question earlier. She said, how am I supposed to be in the state of knowing that it's already done, knowing that my goal is already here, and expecting it at the same time? And I'd love for you to give your answer.
Well, the minute you accept the idea, you've already given it life. So you're breathing life to it. But expectation is critical. Like, if you already knew it was already here, And that's what most people don't know. That's why they're forcing. When you expect it, you're already feeling how you would feel. And now your mind is only focused on what can I do today? What are the actions I have to take? And so you're pushing every time you're forcing a phone call, every time you're forcing an action. But what you're doing is you're creating your want, but you're tying it into lack and limitation. So it's going to be a miserable process. But when you allow your actions, this is the big one. When you allow your actions to come from a place of confidence, not desperation, that's when everything you touch will turn to gold. Literally everything you touch.
I'm glad you just said that word. You said desperation. And you talk about how there's a neediness energy when you're trying to force something and what a repulsive energy that is. Will you talk about that? Because I think it's so relatable.
Well, it's so obvious. You'll know someone who's in a desperate energy or a needy energy just by their language. Their language will tell you everything. So a desperate energy is no different like when you were dating somebody who was needy. You just wanted to be away from them. Like that's how the universe is with us. See you later. Because the universe works off of energy. But here's the thing we've got to decipher. It's easy to grow frustrated when you can't see the results yet. So what do you do? First, you have to trust the process that it is coming based on how you're thinking, feeling, and acting. Even when things still feel away from you, growth is happening behind the scenes. Everything is preparing you for you to receive it, but you have to open the space. Doubt is what suffocates progress. I'm going to say that again because I want you to really understand your enemy is not fear, it's doubt. Doubt suffocates the process, but faith brings it into possibilities.
Ooh, that's good. Is this part of disciplining your mind?
Everything is discipline. Nothing happens without discipline. Somebody wants freedom, prequel is discipline. Somebody wants a great attitude, discipline. Somebody wants to create quantum leaps, discipline. But fear creates the resistance while hope creates the flow.
Ooh.
So I remember early on, I was started to study this when I was failing miserably. And I can't remember who said it, but they said hope creates options. And I love that because that's all I had at that time. My results were so bad. The only thing that I had was hope. But the more you focus on what you want, the closer it becomes. The closer it becomes. And so we've got to, instead of chasing results, what I want people to chase is discipline. What I want people to chase is their greatness. Negative energy creates static. So our emotional state, which we did an episode on, that's how you attract faster. That's where you become greater. That's where your standard levels up. No one has a great standard whose emotional state is down in the toilet. But you remember back in the day, now you're a lot younger than me, but we would have these TVs that if you had certain channels, like the pay-per-view channels, and you didn't pay for them, they'd be staticky. Well, that staticky is the energy we're putting out when we're in negativity, when we're in lack and limitation. So everything, and this is the truth that everyone has to understand, everything comes from us, not to us. So we've accepted something and it's coming from us. So the key for us is to focus on our inner state, not the outer chase. If I'm chasing a result, I'm screwed. I'm telling you this right now. All I'm going to get back is more lack and limitation.
You just said something. You said I was failing miserably, and you paid the price. You disciplined yourself over years and years and years with a lot of consistency and a lot of focus. Now, we've said before, I think we even said it on last week's episode or maybe the week before, that this is all really easy to do, but it's also easy not to do. What is the price that you pay when you don't discipline your mind?
Well, you're creating more of a poverty consciousness. All you're doing is reacting to the circumstances. And all you're going to do is be miserable. So desperation repels because it signals lack. Quiet confidence signals abundance. So that's what you're going to attract. So it's not like I'm telling you to go scream to everybody what you're doing, but I want you to scream it inside to yourself. And the world always rewards action. But are you taking action with scarcity? Every time we're in desperate energy, we may be taking the action, but we're screaming scarcity. And you're not going to get very good results. Before you speak or act, your energy speaks for itself. So your energy, that's why we have to discipline our emotional state only from the state of already having what we want. Your desire is meant for you. I want you to own it. Like your goal is meant for you. I want you to own it. And whenever we're in a state, what is the highest states of owning it and not being in that desperate energy? How grateful would I feel? How excited would I be? How much joy would I have? How much inspiration? Gratitude has been talked about so much, but it's literally the soil where our spiritual goals grow, because it starts in a seed. The more you give thanks for the good in your life, the struggles in your life, when you were chasing, but you were observant of it and caught it, you were aware of it, the more you're actually activating abundance in your life.
What would you say are some symptoms or signals that someone needs to let go and allow?
Well, you could see it in your energy. Like a forcing energy is super heavy. So when your energy is heavy, you're going to know it. When you're judging people, you're going to know you're in a negative energy. When you're not looking for the good, you're going to know you're in a negative energy. But when you act as if your goal is already yours, you send a powerful signal out into the universe and you shift from a mindset of lack to a mindset of abundance.
Is what needs to be overcome to get there the doubt?
The doubt is clear, but I don't want you to fight the doubt. A lot of people fight the doubt. They try to be like, oh, the doubt's not there. Don't fight it, because you're giving the doubt more power. What I want you to do is shift it from accepting what you want rather than the doubt. So we've got to reject the doubt, but do it naturally. Like I want you to see like cars on a freeway. Like when you see a car pass by, you just let it pass by. Like let the doubt pass by, but don't reaffirm the doubt inside. And don't ignore it. I want you to observe it and say, no, I'm going to accept the opposite of this doubt. And when you do that, you're going to allow more good to come to you.
All right, now let's pivot and talk about getting comfortable with your goal. When you said that, what exactly did you mean?
Like when we're comfortable with something, we've accepted it deeply. And so I was using the example of breathing. When we're breathing, we're not trying to breathe. So we don't try to achieve our goal. We just naturally achieve it by the person we become. See, we don't get what we want. We get what we are. What we are is the dominant ideas we accept. Mm-hmm. So if we always are thinking our goal is going to be too hard, wealth is only for a few, not everybody, then we're going to create a lot of lack in ourselves. So we want to get comfortable like you were going to sleep tonight. You don't wonder if you're going to sleep on your bed. You know you're going to lay down and go to sleep. I want you to be that comfortable with the idea. That means when you're that comfortable with it, it's just a natural part of you. You don't have to have alarms to say, hey, remind me of my goal. Remind me of my goal. It's always on your mind. And when something's always on your mind, that's the signal you're putting out. But when you're comfortable with something, it's not force. It's just a natural part of you. I want everyone's goal to be a naturalness in their identity. This is just who I am. I'm the type of person, when I set goals, I achieve it. It's just matter of fact. And that's how you get comfortable with it.
Well, so whenever I think of getting comfortable, I think of when you're around a new group of people, for example, time helps you create comfort. What helps you create that comfort with your goal? Is it spending time with your goal?
It's more awareness. It's more awareness and how the creation process works. The creation process starts in your imagination. So you accept what you want with your imagination. And so when you trust is the key that works everything in our favor in our life. So when you trust in the process, you trust in yourself, and you trust in the timing of the universe that everything is coming to you in perfect timing, now you're out of the way. You'll know when you're not trusting because you're always looking at, am I getting closer to my goal? Mm-hmm. And instead, let's focus on your 3 to 4 goal achieving activities in your top 20% of activities every day, coming from the mindset of already achieved that. speaking the language you would speak had you achieved that. And you're going to start trusting a lot more. But here's what the beauty of trust. Trust lets go naturally of worry, doubt, and fear and opens a space for abundance and opportunity in your life.
So whenever you do your auto suggestion and you embody your goal, you imagine it, you feel it, what it would feel like to be there. The more that you do that, the more that you step into that feeling, the more comfortable you get with the feeling of the goal achieved. Yes?
But you got to master stack that. That is such an important process to master stack, because you're going to feel much more allowance and confidence in that compared to day 1 to day 21. Day 40, you're going to feel a lot more confident. So we have to really build consistency in our life. Consistency is a signal to our subconscious mind that this goal is non-negotiable. And once it's in that, I'm doing whatever it takes. But when I say whatever it takes, that doesn't mean forcing. That's the right actions instead of forced action. And when you value yourself, you're going to show the world what to bring you. And that's why you'll watch people who create success so effortlessly and others are forcing all day long. We've got to allow this, and you've got to be very careful of who you allow in your emotional state. When someone enters your emotional state, they're either adding value or taking it away. So if I'm around somebody with negative energy all the time, guess what? They're infecting me, but I've allowed them to infect me. So we have to be control freaks about a few things. We have to be control freaks about our emotional state. We have to be control freaks about our mindset work, and we have to be control freaks about our attitude.
Would you say that it is a process of getting more comfortable and of allowing more? I would assume whenever you set a really big goal, when you first set it, it's going to feel uncomfortable. It should feel uncomfortable at first. Like, oh, wow, like that's big, that's exciting. But then as you get more comfortable with it, you're well on your way to achieving it. Yes?
Yeah, every day creates momentum, but you can't get momentum starting and stopping. You've got to set the intent, that everything is working perfectly. And when there's a stall, it just means you're not ready to receive it yet. Until you open the space, you're not going to receive it. So allowing is critical, but this doesn't mean you don't want it badly enough. You have to want it badly. But you say it's going to happen in perfect timing. And then you get to work on what your most important activities are. But you're doing it from such a relaxed, trusting, expectant state.
We hear all the time clients affected by the circumstances. They think, oh, you know what? I tried this and it wasn't working, so I'm going to try something else. How long would you say that someone needs to commit to their processes, no matter what the results are saying?
Until they achieve it. I mean, I don't know how long it's going to take because I don't know what each person's programming is. I promise you, by letting go, you're going to achieve more in less time. You're going to achieve bigger than what you even thought. And it's going to be so much more fulfilling because you're not forcing it. You're not forcing it.
I didn't prepare you for this, so hopefully I don't stump you on this one, but we have so many amazing stories of clients that have been in a tough situation and you told them just let go, and then things have happened very, very quickly. Could you tell us one of our stories like that?
Yeah, I have a client, it was about a year ago, that just came to mind. And he said, Arash, I've been working on this deal for 2 years. And it's not coming together. And I said, this is what I want you to do. I want you not to think about it. I don't even want you to think about it. Let it go completely. And he called me 4 hours later. And you think I'm lying. I promise you I'm not lying. Called me 4 hours later. And he said, I got the deal faxed to me. And I said, who faxes? I said, we're in 2024. Like, who faxes? And, he said, as soon as I let it go, the deal came in. For 2 years, he'd been working on this. And I said, imagine if you let go all day long, what would be coming? I know for me, because anytime I'm not completely let go, I have to recalibrate myself. It's easy when the results are not there that we think, oh, I got to I got to do more.
Mhm.
I'm not telling you not to do, but do it based on your goal, based on your process, not do because you're in lack, not do because you're in a desperate energy. If somebody refunds you, ask for a refund in your business, give it to them right away. Give it to them right away. Right away. Because once you let go, you're going to get 10 times what you let go of.
So good. All right, Arash, let's get into an action step for today.
Well, I'm thinking of what would be the best action step, because this is what we talked about today is critical. And you have to create a connection with yourself. So I want you to observe yourself over the last few weeks. When were you in a desperate energy, if you were? And then understand that I was in lack and limitation. Now, I'm going to teach you a process that I want all of you to do. And it's so simple that you have to do this. At the end of your day, I call it reframing. At the end of your day, I want you to observe your day from the morning till the evening, hour to hour, and just go through your mind. This isn't like you're going to take more than 2 minutes doing this. Anytime, let's say at 10 o'clock, you review 10 a.m. to 11 and you're like, oh, I let something trigger me. Then I want you to imagine the exact opposite response. Now, this isn't changing the circumstance. What it's doing is it's clearing in your subconscious mind so it doesn't have the impact on your subconscious mind. But you start practicing reframing and you're going to create so much emotional control. Well, why am I having them do this? Emotional control is connected to surrendering. When I am in control of my emotions and I'm clearing up let's say I had at 1 o'clock, I accepted some form of lack and limitation. I want to go and reimagine the situation so I don't have that much of an impact as what it was originally. And if you start doing that, and if I was somebody, I'd listen to this episode 100 times. This is what is keeping you from bigger, better results. You could do all the right things, but if you're coming from a desperate energy, if you're not trusting, if you're not relaxed, and you're not expecting, you're going to block yourself.
All right. Thank you, Arash, and thanks to all of you. If you enjoyed today's episode, leave us a rating and review, and most importantly, share this with your friends and family. Share it on social media. We would love to have more people in your circle as listeners of the 7-Figure Standard podcast, and we'll see you next week with another new episode. Thanks, Arash.
Thanks, Mikey.
Thank you for listening to this episode of 7-Figure Standard. We hope you found the insights and strategies helpful on your journey to success. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave us a rating and review on your favorite podcast platform to help us reach more people like you. To learn more about Arash and Mikey and how Voss Coach & Co. can help you achieve your goals and reach new levels of success, visit vosscoachandco.com. Thank you again for listening, and we'll see you on the next episode of 7-Figure Standard.